Morning, right? Today I'm going to show you how to make a template for a dovetail joint. Dovetail joints are very repetitive, and they also require a lot of accuracy. So by producing a little wooden template or jig, it will reduce the possibility of any mistakes, because if for instance if you are marking them out with a sliding bevel, you put the bevel down, sometimes it gets knocked and knocked out of shape. Whereas if you make a template, then it's going to be absolutely smack on, and then you know that your dovetails, at least, they're going to be marked out correctly. So if they're wrong, then it'll be down to your woodwork. Right, okay, I'm going to move the camera again, and then I'll see you in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mark out the actual angle. Now, I did a little bit of reading on the internet, and personally I don't think it's massively important that how precise it has to be. I've seen the angle of 8 up, 1 across. I've seen it 1 in 6 as well, but I don't think it really matters that much, so I'm just going to do 1 in 8. So I've got my bench hook here, which, as you know, I love my bench hook. It's got a fairly flat edge, which I can test with my combination square. So what I'm going to do, I've set this combination square to 8 inches. Don't know if you can see that. And then I'll just pop this up 8 inches and strike a line down. So there we go, 8 inches up, strike a line down, and then we'll mark 1 across. And I can see that mark is now, that is the angle. That's going to be our dovetail angle. Then what I'll do, once I've taken that angle, I will get my sliding bevel and set that angle for the sliding bevel. There we go. Come on. Right. Okay, looking good. Just tighten that up, get that nice and tight. You can see we've got the angle. Okay. So what we're going to do then is, now I found an old bit of scrap timber. Now, this is a bit of really old oak. It was on the fire pile, but I'm just going to I'm going to plane it all down. I'm going to shape it. I'm going to get it square, and then once I've got it square, then I can start marking out the actual template. This may take a bit of time, but well, we'll see what happens. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I believe I've got a flat edge on this one edge there, which is roughly perpendicular to the sides. So if you look at that, you can see it's flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strike a line. I'm going to have a look at it, which bit I want that bit. So we only need a little bit. So I'm going to cut that bit off. I'm going to cut that old rough bit off there. And my template, I don't think it needs to be that wide, probably about 2 or 3 inches. But you don't have to be too fussy about it, really. It all depends. So when we've cut those off, normally I would probably use it, I don't know what I'd use, but I wouldn't be doing it by hand. But for you guys, I'm going to do it by hand. It's really awkward, isn't it? On the wrong side of the lights. So I can't see what the hell I'm doing. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off what I think is all I'm going to need. I know. This is my, I'm going to call this my face edge. So that's my face edge, isn't it? Face edge, face side. And what that means is that I know I started from here, and you always do that because then you mark everything off that, and I'll show you that anyway. But what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to plane it down a little bit first. Have I got the right thickness? I think I've got about the right thickness. Let's plane it down. Because it's right, so this is the start of the wedge thing. What I'm going to do now is accurately mark it, get it parallel in both sides, and then start planing the edges up, and then I'll show you what we do next. Anyway, okay, welcome back. So what you can see is I've marked out the gauge and marked out the gauge. Yeah, I'm going to call it gauge or template. And as you can see, I want to remove these bits where I've scraped out and leave the bits in. So it's reversible, so you can flip it over, and basically you'll be marking your dovetail joints as per this. So what I've got to do now is I've got to cut out those bits. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to just pare down a little bit. Being careful not to hit the edge. What this is going to give us is a really sharp edge, something for us to rest our saw against. So I know that is the edge that I want to mark against. Let's just do a little bit more on this side as well. Right, so now on that side. Too far, but that doesn't matter. very good. Pretty good, looking pretty good. Pretty good. A bit deep that one is, but nevertheless, not the end of the world. Got it. So now, let's use the 10 then. So it's a bit like cutting down a tenner. Right, so now I've just got to smooth off those edges, and I've got my template. So as you can see, when I have something square, I can mark against that angle, or I can mark against that angle, or I can mark against that angle or against that angle, giving me the perfect bevels for a dovetail joint. Right, okay. Right, I'm going to carry on with this, but that's pretty much everything. And I don't know whether this really warrants its own video or not, but what I'm going to do is I'll pair against this now. Pretty good. Right, let's get this side. Let's tidy up this side. Not to have any saw marks in it, but I'm not going to get too concerned about it. Yeah, so there you go. One little dovetail template. If you look after it, you don't throw it in your bag, get it smashed about, it'll do the job, and we're going to use that on another video.